Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having us again today. With me this morning is my guest, Mr. James, and he will tell you a little about yourself. And as I said on our last program, we continue with Social Work Month, and we do everything social work this month. Yes. So yesterday was Social Work Day, and of course, social workers were somewhat celebrated. We had a mass and all, and we're going to discuss a little more. Mr. James will give a little more information on our event yesterday. So over to you, Mr. James. You're going to introduce yourself again. You're no stranger here.
Yeah, I think I've been there once before.
Yes. So you tell us a little more about you, introduce yourself, give us a little more information.
My name is Marvin James. I've been a social worker for 8 years. I've worked in housing. I've worked at the Wellness Center for 5 years. I'm now a family caseworker at Human Services. Yeah. Um, I'm also doing my master's degree in marriage and family counseling.
Okay, great. So soon, um, families, when you do have problem, you need some help, you'll have to go over to Mr. James. Yes. Okay. So you were with a different department and now you joined the Division of Human Services.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. How is it so far for you?
It's a different experience. I think social work on a whole, you will never get tired of the experiences you could have in different roles. There's so much you do as a social worker. I don't think most people have an understanding of what it's like to be in a situation where families have to use you as an intermediary for resources.
All right. Well, welcome to the Division of Human Services, and I hope that you have a great experience.
I'm not expecting one, but I'm eager to help.
You will. You will. Of course, you will have your ups and downs, but definitely you will be having a great time. Okay, I look forward. I look forward to working more with you.
Why does it
Even
feel
if
like you're
you're,
selling me a dream?
even if you'll be in the north, I look forward to working more with you. Just letting you know,
Hmm.
yes, that it is you're going to have a great time.
All right,
Yes. Okay.
I'll hold you to that.
Yes. So, okay. So yesterday was Social Work Day. So give us a little more information as to what happened yesterday.
We had a mass at St. Benedict's Catholic Church. It was, to put a blessing on our colleagues, to commemorate the day and to have a celebration for us together. It was nice meeting the various social workers, although we didn't get much time to socialize. Um, we were able to spend time together away from work and to, yeah, we were able to spend some time away from work and, you know, be in a less be not actually spend time in a work setting. And I think that's something we need to do more often as colleagues.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Um, it is that Social Work Day had a different theme from Social Work Month. Social Work Month theme is yeah, look, I'm forgetting the theme now. Action, compassion, and action. And also, but with Social Work Day, there was another theme, which is strengthening integrational solidarity for enduring well-being. Okay,
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
definitely. Yes, so strengthening integrational solidarity for enduring well-being. and this was celebrated yesterday. And everything social work, whether we have some fancy words, whether we don't have some fancy words and terms, it all boils down to us being service workers and helping people,
Hmm.
being in the helping profession. So everything we do as social workers will be for the betterment of our people.
Definitely.
Okay? To work with families, individuals, and to make sure that children are safe and in comfortable environments. Yes. So I know you just came, Mr. James. Has there been any situation that any situation, any challenges that you faced as a family caseworker so far?
Well, the most glaring challenge, and I don't think is limited to family casework in human services. I think it's across the board in social work. Is a lack of resources to help clients. You find a child needs a safe place to go. Where do you bring them? Yeah, we do have places, but these places are already full to the brim. So it's like you're a fighter in that regard. You have to make you have to find resources where they are. And I used to tell my friends, being a social worker is like, if I were to give a metaphor or an analogy, it's like there's a truck bringing you a case of soft drinks, about 50 cases of soft drinks every day. And they tell you, all right, I'm going to drop these 50 cases there, find a place for them. Okay, you have a little barn outside. The first truck come, you put the 50 cases. Next day, another truck come with 50 cases on time. You say, yeah, look, another 50 cases, put them away from me. Okay, you figure, you know what, I can put it by the side of the barn. Next day, another truck would come with the next 50 cases, and you realize that the cases keep coming, but the space you have for the
Yes.
drinks not there.
It's
It's
exhausting.
pretty soon the cases in your house, in your backyard, cases on the road, like you don't have the capacity to deal with the workload that is presented. And I think many people don't see that when they lodge criticisms to social workers.
Yeah. Well, we are here to help, and what persons see out there is that we are here to help, and we have to make it work. We have to help, and
Yeah.
this is what it is. Yeah. So this is why it is so important that we come out here to share our experiences and let the public know really what social work is about and what we do. And the last program we had, we did speak about our regions, and we spoke about how wide our regions are.
Hmm.
And on top of doing family casework, we also now do elder care.
Right.
So we have to work with the elderly, and there is one social worker to every region. What is your region now, sir?
I'm still in training. I don't have a region as yet.
Okay. Yeah,
They're
but
bouncing me around so I can get a feel of the landscape.
okay, definitely. But it would be somewhere in Castries because you're based up north. Hopefully.
Possibly, yeah.
All right, great. Okay. Um, we've working with elder care. Okay. I'm going to give a little bit about elder care. So we know the challenges faced in St. Lucia with our with the elderly. So now we have to assist, we social workers assist families with the elderly. So if there is a situation where, for example, and someone was left at the hospital, because sometimes this happens,
Mm.
where someone will be brought to the hospital, especially an elderly, and you find there will be nobody to turn around to care for this person. So a social worker will be called, whether from the hospital, whether human services, okay? And this person now, the social worker now, would have to assume responsibility, meaning that this social worker would have to advocate on this person's behalf, also to seek help in terms of trying to get a home for this person, trying to connect this person with family. Now, something that really pains me, not only with elder care, and you will tell me as well, Mr. James, not only with elder care, but as a family caseworker generally, is that when persons come out there, you will hear the government is doing nothing, the government letting the people down. You will hear the policemen are not doing anything. The police is letting people down. You will hear social workers not doing anything. Social workers letting people down. Hardly people do you hear the family. Hardly do you hear the family let them down. Hardly do you hear the parents let them down. People, we need to take responsibility for our older persons. We need to take responsibility for our children. Yes, social workers are there to assist, not make things work or make miracles. When we don't work, we will have to work hand in hand with you, the family, okay? So everybody involved comes together to work together. It is not individualistic where social workers work on their own. Okay, I drop my relative at the hospital and then you take over.
Yeah, I think there's a general issue as solutions we have with accountability. And as you rightfully said, it's not just in elder care. You find it with children as well. It's there's something to be said when you make a child, right? And a lot of us have fantasies about what it means to make a child. A lot of us have our children as our retirement plan, which is a whole discussion by itself. I've been hearing you have to make a child when you get old. Who's going to take care of you? That's not how it works, people. You're supposed to put something away in your old age so that you can take care of yourself. You didn't make a child so when they're 30 and they're supposed to be starting their life, they now have to figure out how to bring you to a hospital, how to move you around, how to make sure you're eating. That's unfair to the child. Yeah. So let's get that straight. You don't make a child as your retirement plan. You're supposed to put your retirement plan together early enough. And a lot of us don't think about that in our 30s and our 40s. And when our 60s reach, we get caught with our pants down. So that's one thing. There's another thing to consider when you make a child and the child comes out with a brain issue, the child comes out with a mental illness, not able to take care of him or herself. What then? Is that child still worthy of your love?
Most definitely
Is that
no.
child still worthy of your care? Because that child now does not fit in the narrative of the plan that you had for the future. Do you now look at that child as less than? Do you discard that child? What happens? I think there's a bigger conversation we need to have concerning these things.
We definitely will have a
Because,
program
yeah, because
disability, children with disabilities.
now
Yes.
that your child is mentally ill, you're going to call the wellness center. Come and take him. He's not behaving himself. Yeah, but no social worker at the mental wellness center help you make the child. When you made the child, you had a plan, you had something going for you, you were in love, whatever the case might be. But these actions happen because you brought them forward. So now to call Renita and shout at her in her office because your precious baby boy acting out is no fault of her own. She can do what she can to assist the process. But the accountability lies with you. Yeah. And now the boy enters a wellness center. Treatment has been done, and we're calling you to come and pick him up. You're gonna just keep him there?
Yes. What you expect me to do with
Yeah.
him?
You're gonna just keep him there? So what I do with him? I don't have nothing in my okay, sis, but he's not our child. He's your child. Yeah. You took the time, the love, the physical exercise to make that child. You didn't make the child for the wellness center. And the wellness center doesn't have the capacity to hold people for long-term stays. It's a temporary solution to most often what is a permanent problem. Yeah. They can help you, they can train you, they can provide the assistance, but the onus of taking care of that child lies with you. And that translates to elder care. That translates to any family issue where social workers are called in to lend assistance or to intervene. We cannot take the problem from you. We cannot take the issue from you. We cannot take the social matter from you. We intervene to provide assistance, to show you resources that are available so that you can be empowered to help the situation better. It's not a matter of the social worker come and they bring the child back. It's your child, sis. It's your child, sir. Yeah.
Yes,
And I think that's what it is. It's a issue of accountability.
most definitely. And I'm so happy to hear you bring in that point about it is your child, your responsibility. Because many times it is sad that you'll hear some parents coming to me and telling me, Miss, I want you to send my child to boys training center. I want you to send my child to the transit home. Send my child to the home because right now I can't take it again.
Yeah,
I
I've heard
cannot take
that.
it again.
I've just started and I've heard that already.
Yes, I cannot take it again. What do you expect me to do? I've done my best. Parents, really, what is your best? And like I said, we work together. And I'm very happy that you are coming for the help. Of course, we are there to help, to assist you, work alongside you, but not for you to bring the child for us to say, hey, the last thing we want to do is to institutionalize a child.
Yeah, that's not
I
the
heard
best
I heard
option.
there was this case that was brought about. I think I saw it on the media somewhere where a parent was saying she was seeking help for her child. She
Hmm.
was on a cruise ship or something and saying that the social workers did not come through because she wants to put the child in a home. So what I'm saying is that should be the last resort to want to institutionalize your child. That would be the last, very
Yeah, a
last
child
resort.
needs a house with parents who love
Love.
them, who provide
Exactly.
assistance, who help them intellectually, be with them for homework, give them attention,
Yep.
give them the proper care and affection so he can grow up in a balanced way. When a child grows up in a home where he's denied love, where he's denied his needs, care, and affection, he now turns outward to the society with almost like a hatred and anger in to figure out how he can take what he didn't get. And
Definitely.
that's how we have that gang culture developing.
Yep.
It's
And
a
very young. I've
yeah,
seen it very
it's a
young.
lot of young boys who feel
Mhm.
like they're being ignored, who feel like they're not getting the love, who don't even really know what love is, what care and affection is. So
Mhm.
their mindset has been twisted to view society as a cold environment where they have to take something from.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
love parents is not about materialistic things. It is not about you buying the most expensive shoe. It is not about you buying them the food they want to eat. It's not about giving them money to go wherever they want to. That is not what we're talking about. Love we're talking about is to be there, physical touch. When you come home, the child comes home. Do you ask, how was school today? Tell me about your day. You sit and you discuss. Is it about you pray together? Is it about you love this child where you hug this child? Okay? And tell this child, you know you're a handsome boy. You know you're a beautiful girl. Okay?
I usually tell women this to help them understand how they should treat their children. I tell them the same way you want your husband to be when he's affectionate towards you is the same way you have to give it to a child. The same
Definitely.
attention you would want. I know sometimes it's a bottomless pit, but the same amount of attention you want.
That's not an issue.
The same amount of attention you want is the same amount of attention you want to provide to that child, the same amount of care, the same amount of interest in his daily activities. That way, the child feels like he belongs. That way, he feels like he has a unit he belongs to and is properly integrated into society, knowing what healthy relationships are. Because the first relationship you'll ever make is a relationship with your mother and a relationship with your father.
Most definitely.
That's why we tell parents in counseling if under the age of 10 your child has an issue and you recognize the child has an issue and you bring in a child for counseling, it's not the child that needs the counseling, it's you.
It's you.
Yeah, if you have a child
Yes.
who's a problem at under 9, under 10, the child doesn't need the counseling. It's you because at that level, everything the child has gathered up until that point is directly from his family of origin, his parents. So there's something cooking in the background there that's creating the monster that you don't like to see. And we will need to address it in terms of a counseling session where the parents are the ones we sit down with and figure out where this ship went wrong.
Well, we always say that the child is the product of the environment.
Yeah, well, at
So
first, at first, after that,
sometimes,
they get
yes,
mannish, they get womanish, and then it
they
becomes their
do.
friends.
Right.
So when they're 13, 14, it's no longer about mommy and daddy. It's about my friend say
Friends,
this,
right.
that is a school bag I like, that kind
And
of thing.
you have to give a lot of guidance there.
Yes,
So, and also, loving your child is not okay. You cry and look the tablet, take it.
that's
Okay.
another big point. Love
Discipline.
involves discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Love is not just doing whatever you want, so you don't have to have uncomfortable conversations with your child, so you don't have to suffer the moment of anger that the child feels toward you, or that the child is not approving of you. And parents, if you realize you have an issue of your child disapproving of you, that's a bigger problem that you need to address with yourself. Yeah, you're not their friend, you're not their sister, you're not their brother, you're their
Boundaries.
parent. You need to help them grow up with this. And I keep telling parents this: you're not making a child for yourself, you're making a child to send out into the world. So if at already 5 years old, 6 years old, the world annoyed with your child, every time you bring your child out there, everybody like, oh my God, that child again. Something is going on wrong.
Something
Something
is
needs to be
different.
checked out. You cannot just, well, he's a nice boy. I love him. He always there for me. No. And I tell women that as well, not just in terms of crime and in terms of mental illness, but in terms of social health. It's an issue I see mostly with single mothers. But when you raise a boy child, let me put it like that. When you go out in society and you're dating and you look at a man and you say, boy, that man have a lot of female characteristics. He's not a manly man. Yeah. He not, I don't know, something about him. He's giving me the ick or the whatever words you'll use to disapprove of these men. Most of the times, ladies, if you raise your boy in that fashion, he will become the man that you don't want to be around. So you have to keep that in mind in terms of when you raise a boy, he's supposed to have a masculine figure that he can draw reference from. So he can become the man that you would, I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but you want to raise a man that you would want to date. Not a boy that loves his mommy and all he can think about is his mommy. And when the next girl sees him, she's like, oh my God.
Okay. So I will be the devil's advocate
Oh,
here.
sure. You can
Yes,
help the
Mr.
devil
James.
anytime you want.
So,
Yes.
so I am saying, yes, I am happy to hear you say
Mhm.
that she has to raise a child to be a masculine, the son to be masculine. Um, as a single mother myself, it is very difficult to raise your son to be masculine as you would like, because there are just certain things that is very challenging
Mhm.
for you to do. So I am appealing to you fathers out there. You do not have to be in a relationship with the mother to be a parent. You do not have to be in the same house, or you do not have to be intimate with the mothers to be a parent. So it is your duty, fathers, to be in your children's lives, especially your sons' lives, because they need you.
Now let me.
We mothers can only do so much, but we need the fathers. Take them on the field, go and play the football. Show them simple thing and showing them how to bathe properly, how to wash the penis properly. It's very important. Okay? How to speak, how to act, how to treat others. Okay, fathers? So we need to be their fathers. You need to be their fathers to assist, because yes, we've been speaking and talking about parents, but it is not only the mother who is a parent, the father is a parent as well. And so many absent fathers out there. I'm not talking about that you have to be the mother, you have to be in the same household. It is your duty to be there, show up, come on weekend, pick up your child a weekend, have fun with this child, play with this child, maintain this child, be there. Because sometimes, a lot of the times, when you see the boys are acting out, they are really missing their fathers. Because I remembered one of my clients came and said, My son came crying home to me saying the other children, like some of his friends, were speaking about their father and activities they're doing with their father. So this child asked his mother, "What did I do, my father? What did I do? What went wrong? Why does my father hate me? Because I don't have a relationship with him. I'm not. He does not take me to spend time. So fathers, I'm appealing to you to be, especially your sons. They need you to be in their lives."
Right. So let me be the angel's advocate on that side. While my colleague made a good appeal to the fathers, I want to make this appeal to the mothers. Yeah. Ladies, you heard what you just said about the fathers who are not in the children's life. However, I've only been in this job for a month and I've seen multiple men who are interested in being in their child's life. And the women and the mothers of the children are playing games. Ladies, your child is not a tool to manipulate the father. If the man is showing interest in raising his son, let him. Even if he has another girlfriend and he's not interested in you, he doesn't have feelings for you anymore, that's okay. You're an adult. Move on, figure out how to do it, but let the man spend time with his children. It's not a matter of when you vex, he could come over on the weekend or he could take his child out. You're working against your child. You're working against your posterity. Let the man take time to be with his child. Now, there's something else you said, but in terms of the law, mothers are given almost carte blanche in terms of what they can do.
Men with
So
the law.
that's
Men with the law.
calm down, sis.
Just say,
Yeah. So what happens is a man will come and say, she just dropped the child at my house. I'm taking care of my daughter. I love her. But then every time we make a little inroad and the VAP move on her, she'll just come back and take the child. And I can do nothing about that. So now we have this destabilizing thing where most men are even wary of being involved in their children's life because there's this frustration that's been building up. And then the mother takes the child and she tells the child, "That's why your daddy don't love you. You don't see you not taking time and being." So now you have a child who's being poisoned in the household. And when the father spends time with him, he almost feels like he's not wanted in the space. So these are a lot of issues that are happening behind the scenes with men who want to be in their child's lives, but they find as if it's you cannot win in that situation. So mothers, I'm putting it to you, just like we gave it to the fathers. I need you all to do better. Yeah.
I totally agree.
I need you all to do better. We cannot have men out here who are trying to be in their children's life, but the only reason they can't is because you and your feelings.
Very true. And Mr. James, I've had a program on that before, and I've told the mothers, yes, the fathers cannot be in the children's lives if you don't allow them. I remembered once I had this particular situation. I was reported to the police. Yes, I was reported to the police by a parent because I took the father to visit the child. Okay, and she was so upset that she reported me to the police. So it is not about you. If I do understand that if a father is posing harm to your child, the father is putting the child in danger, of course, we do not want that. But if it is you and in your feelings, mothers, that I don't like him anymore, I don't want him around me anymore, that's fine. But he needs to be in his child's life. And it's very sad that a father cannot be in a child's life only because you, the mother, do not want to see him again. So you are not going to be in my child's life. The two of you had this child. Without him, you would not have a child. So even if, yes, you have all the rights, but he is still the child's father, and he has his rights as a father to visit his child, to be in his child's life. So, mothers, as you heard Mr. James, allow the fathers to be in the children's lives because at the end of the day, when you fight with the fathers, the sons are seeing that, the daughters are seeing that, especially the sons. You know where you end up a few years down the road? In my office because the children act out. So, parents, we are appealing to you to please do what is necessary to ensure that your children are in a healthy environment.
Yeah, there's also the matter of interrelatedness when they are both parents in the house. I think that's also an issue in as social workers we don't tackle very often. How do you speak to your partner in the presence of your child? How do you relate to your partner in the presence of your child? And even if, let's say, you're going through a separation or divorce, or you and a man vex in the house, what does a child see when that happens? Because a lot of parents don't realize while you might be preaching something to the child, the first template the child has in terms of relationships or watching what his role is in a relationship, his or her role is through you. So if you're a woman in the house and you constantly chiffoning your husband, you constantly talking rough with aggression in your voice, you're going to raise a child who believes that's what it is as a man to be in a relationship. And then you're raising another boy who will be just like the husband you chiffoning in the house. Is that what you want for your son?
So true.
Fathers, if in a relationship where you're putting licks on the woman, you being aggravated, you're being controlling, you want to hold all the money, you don't have emotional maturity, you teaching your daughter that's what it means to be in a relationship with a man. And as a template that she gets when she grows up, is a man is supposed to be in control of me, a man is supposed to take charge. And when she says takes charge, she literally means take charge of my body. Is that what you want your daughter growing up to do? Is that what you want your daughter growing up to learn? So I have these conversations with parents. The way you parent teaches your children how to parent when they grow up. And they end in relationships and they have not a clue what they're doing. And they raise children without care, affection, shouting after them. Parents, a lot of you are the negative voices in your children's head. I've dealt with a lot of children with suicide ideation, depression, anxiety. What they often hear is, I am nothing. Um, the world will be better off without me. What's the point of me living here? That's a negative voice in the head that you implanted. When you look at a child and you throw an insult at the child, you ugly like your father, or you'll never grow up to be nothing. Whatever insecurity that is happening to you that you pass on to your child will just keep going on down the generational line, because that probably happened to you with your mother and your mother with her grandmother. It has to stop somewhere. And the legacy you leave with your child would be that voice you put in their head. Why not make it a positive voice that you leave in your child's head? Why not keep telling the child, I have faith that one day you'll be a positive force in society and that the world will be better for you to be for you being here? Why not leave that in the child's head after you're dead and gone? Imagine you dead and you still exist as a ghost in your child's head of negativity. Yeah. I want us to whoever's listening to this, and I'm not sure who it is, but if that's something you're doing, if there is if there is something you're doing that's creating this negative voice in your child's head, it's not too late to stop it. Whenever you feel the urge to say it, stop yourself and find something positive about your child that you want to reinforce. Because that's what education is, reinforcement. Yeah. When you send your child to school, that's what the teachers do. They reinforce the educational creeds. All right. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. And your child started hearing that in their head, and that's how they keep it in memory. When you keep saying the negative things in the house, yeah, you're too stupid, you'll never learn. When a child is in school and is practicing for a math exam later down the line, what comes into his head? I'm too stupid, I'll never learn. That's not an encouraging thing to have
Why
circulating in
even
your
waste
child
my
head.
time
Yeah,
doing it?
I'm too stupid. What's the
Yes.
point? I might as well live here, go and sell drugs, get money.
Yeah, of course. And some parents actually do tell the children, look at me, I didn't go to school. I made it. So some children will tell you that they don't need school, they don't need an education to do it.
Yeah.
And one point you made, Mr. James, about telling children stuff. Of course, parents, we know that you will be upset and you will say things sometimes you don't mean. One thing which is very important to do is to apologize.
Oh, yes.
Learn to apologize to your child. If you realize that you have said something that you didn't mean out of anger, call the child back afterwards and apologize.
Yeah, we have
Please
this
tell them to
ego.
them. You
We
need
have
to
this ego that
apologize.
we have adopted as adults,
Mhm.
that a child is somewhat less than a human being. But, and I tell this to people, right? A lot of us need counseling and we don't even know it. And I use that analogy. I know a lot of people are sick of hearing me use that analogy, but I'll say it. When you have a nice vehicle that working well, you just buy it from, let's say, Beachcomber. You just get a vehicle from Beachcomber, it proper. They give it to you brand new. Let's say you're driving it down the road and for some reason the engine light blinking. What do?
Pack it on the side.
You park it on the side. You call up.
Record.
You ask for the record. You call a professional. Let them check on that to see what's going on to fix that light and stop it from blinking. You just think you just continue driving on the highway full speed?
No.
What could happen?
Accidents. And
Your
stuff.
vehicle could break down.
You
There
could
could be
die.
irreparable damage to that engine. You might have to replace everything there.
Mhm.
But most of us walking around with our engine light blinking.
Yep.
Most of us are constantly walking around St. Lucia with our engine light blinking. If somebody tell you something and your first thing to say is, let me tell you something, that's your engine light blinking. If you're at home and all you can have is bad thoughts and depression, that's your engine light blinking. Yeah. If you cannot be in a relationship without and you cannot handle conflict in a healthy way by admitting your feelings, by being vulnerable, by opening up to someone that you believe you love, that's your engine light blinking. Yeah.
It is very sad, as you've seen at Miss James, because just recently I encountered a young lady and we came into speaking and she's like, she's going through so much and all. I said, well, you need to get help, my darling. Call somebody, speak to somebody, get professional help. There are counselors out there. And she goes on to tell me, no, I'll talk to God.
Yeah. God is my
Because
counselor.
when I go to people, they'll just put my business out there.
Right. That's a fear.
So my response to her was, what is greater to you? Is your business getting out there greater, or you getting the help that you need for your peace of mind and sanity better? And she looks at me and she says, you're right. Yes, my sanity, my peace of mind. I said, yes, because a counselor will not put it out there. Maybe you speak to a friend, you may not put it out there. What about your partner? What about whoever you have the issue with? May put it out there. So there may be a possibility of it getting out there nonetheless. So you should concentrate on getting help. And we live in that society in St. Lucia. We don't believe in counseling because, hey, they'll put my business out there. They'll talk about my business.
Yeah, but I've always had an issue with that. How important do you think your business is in terms of when you see a counselor? You really think there's this pride and ego thing again. You really think your business is that important for the counselor to go and talk about it after the session? You know how many persons a counselor sees in a day?
Yep.
Why is your scenario the most important one? And just to put the fears to rest of a lot of people, counselors are trained in confidentiality and handling issues like that. That's why they tell most people, unless you have the mentality for emotional distress and stuff, being a counselor is not really the thing for you. Yeah.
True.
So counseling is not, and a lot of people say they are counselors, but you want someone who actually has the degree, who's actually active in research, who has a lot of experience doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because some people would go to the, no offense anybody, but some people, yes, you smile because I will put it there. I will see a lot of people go to their pastors.
And think
A
the
lot of
pastors are
people go
counselors.
to, yeah, church leader, and they're not trained
Yeah.
because sometimes giving counseling could be more harm than good. So because if you're not trained to do counseling,
You shouldn't do it.
as a social worker, I am not a counselor. My clients will come to me and I will explain to them. I do brief counseling. I could do a brief debriefing, but when it comes down to real issues, go to a counselor. This is not my forte.
Yeah, but social workers
Okay.
are trained in counseling, by the way.
Yes, we
But
are.
the profession of counseling has so much, because I'm a social worker as well, and now I'm doing the psychotherapy course in my master's in psychotherapy. There's a lot that is packed into that in terms of how you deal with people, how you help them, or how you give them the tools to overcome some of the issues that they're dealing with. And it's a process. It's a scientific process. There's a way and different methods to achieve the goal that you and your client decide on in a therapy session.
Definitely.
Yeah. So to think counseling is just for mad people or the counselor tell, like, there are a lot of things or barriers we put in place that prevents us from getting the help that we need.
Definitely.
And St. Lucians, trust me, we need help in raising our children because the landscape right now is terrifying.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
things we have to deal with at human services is terrifying. If you think you're struggling as a parent, I would tell you don't hesitate. Find a counselor. I don't know if we can give you all a list of counselors in St. Lucia that they can contact, but don't look at it like something you don't need. If your vehicle engine light blinking, you need a mechanic. It's not a question of not. And some of y'all will say, "Yeah, boy, I have a little mechanic in me or whatever." Okay, but there are some things in the vehicle that you're not
You
prepared for.
need help with.
So you do need the help.
Even counselors reach out to other counselors.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yes, that's to show. So, parents, we're asking you to work along with basically your teachers. A lot of parents fight with the children's teachers, not physically, okay? But you would say, who the teacher think he is or she is to tell my child that or to do that or whatever. Already, if you're telling your child that in, if you're already saying that in your child's presence,
Your engine light blinking.
definitely. So you work along with your teachers. You work along with your counselors, work along with your social workers. If you're not working with these individuals, it is so sad to hear some parents come to my office and be like, Miss, I give up. In the child's presence, Miss, I give up. Okay, I give up. When you're telling me that as a social worker, Miss, okay, and your child is hearing that, how do you expect this child to behave? So we need a lot of help. We need to take our responsibilities more seriously. The same way you take your jobs very seriously. When you're out there, your children should be your job, your priority as well. Okay. Now we spoke about children. I am coming to adults. Mr. James, you said something earlier. I agree to disagree. Okay, with it. Um, yes, a parent's retirement plan should not be their child. However, a child, part of your responsibility should be to your parents. And
I
I,
agree.
I will
I
exactly.
agree.
So I will say that to mean that I do not know my Bible very well, but I know there is a portion in the Bible that God said to honor your parents. Children, you should honor your parents. And honoring your parents mean because once a man, twice a child, which means that in your older days, you become a child again and you need help. So, the same way your parents took care of you, you need to now take care of your parents. And if you don't and you have your children, they will treat you the same way that you treated your parents. So, not because they've gotten old, they've gotten gray, that you discard them. You don't. You take care of them, you love them, you pamper them, help them as much as possible. Stop treating your parents like they're this huge burden on you. Okay? You were once a baby. They had sleepless nights. Okay. Yes, you will say I didn't tell them to call me into the world. I've heard that. Yes. I didn't ask my parents to go and make me. I didn't ask them to call me into the world. So if at this point you're saying that, would it be okay for your parents to just take you and maybe just do away with you? That's a crime, right? It's a sin. You are here, you're enjoying life. You love being alive. You love being here. So your parents treated you very well, bathed you, clothed you, had the sleepless nights, had to take time off from work to take you to the doctor, had to take time off to go to the meetings at the schools, whatever it took to take care of your parents did. So now, when they are not well, they cannot do it for themselves. The onus is on you now to take care of your
My
parents.
issue with that argument is that what about when a parent doesn't do that?
When a parent does not do that, I do agree that it would be very difficult for a child to come in
Right?
to give the help.
So here's what I use as a standard.
Mhm.
Everyone is responsible for themselves.
Yes,
Yes?
I do agree
Your
for
retirement plan, and I stand by that statement, your retirement plan should never be your children. You should have a retirement plan for your old age when you're no longer able to work to take care of yourself. However, Children should play an integral part of the socialization of their parents when they're older. Spend time with them, be there for them. But what I will not do is encourage adults to not plan for the future and leave the bulk of their maintenance on their
On
children
your
in their
children.
later years.
That is
Yeah.
true. It happens a lot,
So
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah, I know.
Mhm.
So while I will say yes, be there for your parents until they pass away, spend time with them, but it is unfair to tell anyone that the bulk of the responsibility for their parents should be on their shoulders.
You should
Yeah.
assist.
Yes, you should be there for
And
your parents'
and
life.
I'm coming to say, men, especially
Something
men,
you like, man. Huh?
men,
Tell us, sis.
especially men,
Hmm.
your retirement plan properly. So so that when you get to that stage, you would have someone or some form of maybe financial backing to assist you. So many times I see, because I used to work at the hospital, and the majority of the people left on the hospital bed without care would be the men. It's reality. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
targeting men.
Nice, a fact.
You worked there as well. We work
Yeah.
together. So it's really serious. It's the men. And when as a social worker, a medical social worker at the hospital, I would try to reach out to the children. You know what I would hear, which is so heartbreaking? He never took care of me. He was never there. Or you would hear, yes, he left me for a younger woman. He left me for a younger woman. He went to bill for her. He went to work with her. He left me in the house. And when he got sick, you know what happened? The younger woman or the other woman take them to the hospital and be gone. And we have to call the wives begging, Miss, I know, Miss, I'm sorry. Miss, he's your husband. You know, it shouldn't be men. Okay? So fix your beds properly so that you can have a comfortable bed to lie on in that time when you need. Because stop living your lives, men especially. Stop living your
Why are you
lives,
saying men with so much emphasis?
especially because
That M strong, boy.
it really gets to me to see so many men live their lives like, you know, there's no tomorrow. They're living their lives partying, having their fun, not taking care of their children, like I said earlier, absent fathers, and later on in their lives, we have to go and beg these very children you were not there for. We have to go and call them and beg them. All these wives you left stranded, we have to go and beg them and call them, please assist, come and assist. So men, the Creole saying, mettez gloire divin, that says, come take your responsibilities. So in the event, as Mr. James says, that there is not maybe a proper retirement plan, at least compassion, like our film says, compassion and action. Somebody will feel some compassion towards you and give some action in terms of assisting and helping.
I
Yes,
think
Mr.
there's
James.
always also a conversation to be had concerning emotional intelligence. I think most of us don't know how to do relationships properly. So somewhere along the line, I think about my own grandparents. They actually had a breakup in their 70s or when they were. Yeah, I'm like, Granny, where you going? Are you allowed drama? She left. She went in another man's house. I'm like,
At 70?
yeah, old people thing.
Wow.
I'm like, what are you doing, Granny? Just, but then again, in her mind, she had enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she had to leave.
Okay.
But here's what we don't see, and we usually see one side of the coin. When the woman had enough and she leaves the house, we're like, yeah, I can imagine what she must have been going through in that house with that toxic man. And we're like, good for you, Granny. But then when it happens to the man, it's like, man, how you just abandon your family? And we need to look at this thing
Mhm.
in an objective manner, right? Most men are silent sufferers in their house. They live their whole life providing to the ungratitude of their families sometimes. And then when they reach a certain age, when the mortality hits them, they realize all I've done is provide, given everything to these people, and I haven't lived for myself. So then you start having these midlife crises where them fellas go and put studs in their ears, go and buy a motorbike, go and do all kind of wild stuff. And all we see is a man acting out without understanding where it's coming from, right? So what I don't want is to start a gender war and make it a men versus women thing. But I want us to understand that we have overlooked a section of society so much to the point we don't even understand the psychology behind some of the actions, and we villainize them without putting it in context. Yeah? Men are suffering, they don't have a voice, they don't even know how to describe what they're going through emotionally because as men, was that?
Continue. You said men don't have a voice.
Yeah, for sure, men don't have a
I
voice.
just repeated that.
Yeah.
Just to stick up in, Mr. James.
Mm.
You find, yes, I've had that discussion before where there are um, resources for women where you would have the crisis center, they'd have the women's shelter and so on. And there's
Two hotline.
okay, just saying for women, but more for the women, but not really for the men. I had a discussion once, and I said to a counselor, and I told her there was a, I think it was a program for women, for troubled women. She actually managed that program, and I said, but we need to have one for men. Her response to me was, we tried, men did not come out. I've asked also about a shelter for men. Somebody else said to me, yes, there was a shelter for men. It closed down because the men are not coming in. Why? As you said, we raise our men, we parents, we raise our boys. Okay? Stop acting like a girl. Stop crying. You have to be tough. You have to, so it is okay to cry. You have emotions. It's okay to go out there and speak about it. Too many times, like you said, Mr. James, men suffer in silence. And why? Because a lot of times when they seek help, other men like themselves would tell them, Garçon, usa fun.
Women as well.
And women as well,
Yeah.
right, would say, Garçon, usa fun. Ukakite saga, whatever. They will
I've
say
seen
to
a
them.
I've seen an abusive situation, and when the man came forward, the first thing the woman asked him is, "What you do to the woman to make her do you that?"
Okay. It happens.
Yeah.
So we're saying from young, we train our boys to speak out because even sometimes when the help is there, I'm saying that men do not go for the help
So
because they
here's
have the ego.
I understand that, and I wouldn't just put it on ego. I'll put it in terms of how do we offer. There's a difference between men and women. We can agree to that, correct?
Definitely.
Great. A lot of research has been put into how to help women. In fact, the whole psychotherapy model is based on helping women. Yeah. When Freud started it, his clients were women. Yeah.
Yes.
And we call it talk therapy. So basically, we help you navigate what's going on mentally and we give you the tools to come out of it. Men are not like women. So we have a whole model of help based on a female foundation. It's not attractive to men. That's like if I put a model of shopping that men like, you wouldn't find it attractive. If I tell you, all right, let's do speed shopping. You have 2 seconds, go. You will get vexed one
So
time.
what would you propose that men would like?
No, I'm saying we need more research into how to help men instead of just assuming.
There are men. So give us some ideas.
I am
as to-
saying we need to do more research
Mhm.
into how to help men instead of assuming that men operate the same way women do and just use the same model for women and just bring it for men.
Okay. But I'm asking Mr. James, okay, for example, just an example,
Mhm.
nothing in depth. What do you think would be maybe one strategy that can be used to assist a man?
Again, right? We need to look into this thing seriously. What I've seen that works for men, because most men will get their social needs met on a basketball court, on a football field. So you find that just sitting with a man and talking is not appealing. But if you were to introduce an activity and therapy was a byproduct of that activity, you'll find it's received well. Yeah. So when fellas playing dominoes or they meet or they go in fishing, the activity is there and the psychotherapy is a secondary function of the meeting. Because if I call a man and say, "Oh, let's go and talk somewhere," No man want to hear that. Yeah, if I just call up and up, oh, you guys, let's go in the park and talk. Unless that man is in a situation where his back is against the wall and he's depressed and there's nothing. That's not something that happens for men. So yeah, I don't have all the answers. I'm still working my way into the profession. That's why I said we need more research into what men find appealing to have these kind of interventions. We cannot just continue thinking that we're going to use women's models and just place it on men.
So true. Okay.
And when
So,
it doesn't work, we say men don't want it.
well, as you said, we need to get more research into because it's not, I would not say it's a women's approach we use, a program. You go into counseling, you do your research, and you say,
No,
okay,
no, I'm not saying it's a women's approach. I'm just saying the model of counseling we have, that psychotherapy was
right.
based on, for it's like if you develop a model, a testing model, all right, and all you use is puppies,
Yep,
and the puppies choose the colors they like. And then you say, okay, great. Now let's use that for children.
you're not puppies.
Right. The test was validated using this sample
Yes,
group.
okay.
So we cannot just take this sample group and then drop it on another sample group and say, all right, let's use it on that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
After after this social work month is done, Mr. James and I, or another gentleman, will have enough time to do some research, and we're going to have another program just for men to to let us review some strategies that work for men because we really need some strategies that work for boys, for the males. Okay?
We have stuff that works for boys. You see, boys use mentorship, yeah, and boys learn by play. That's something the research has. When you introduce play into the teaching element, you find boys are more active, they learn more, they're more engaged. To have a boy sit down in a class and hear somebody talk, his mind and thinking it and twitching already, you want to do something. So we have research on that. We know when you want to reach boys, you get them active, you spend time with them and that kind of stuff. I think as men, we just throw out to the wolves.
Okay.
Men.
On that note,
Yeah.
Mr. James, of course, it has been a great program.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, let us see, I have some listeners out there. Mr. Sheldon Lionel, um, you said what are the most common reasons for you being summoned to a family? Um, Okay, so you made some comments. Thank you so much for that. We have Gloria Leon. I was a very young mother, and the father was not there, but I did my best for my son, and now he is a high school teacher. Kudos to you, Miss Gloria Leon. Keep doing what you do. Okay. Um, and to you, Mr. Lionel, as well. You said one of your points that hits close to home is the one about parents thinking that the children have to take care of them. I think that was a thinking of the past. Okay, so thank you so very much for sharing your views and your comments. Thank you for being on the program. Any closing remarks, Mr. James?
Be kind to your social workers. Yeah. We're out there trying to help. There are a lot of obstacles. One of them is the institutions available to us that we can use to help you, and another one is you yourself. Do your best so that you don't become an obstacle in terms of the interventions that we can put in place. We'd really appreciate it.
Very much so. So I'm so happy to hear Mr. James say that. Be very kind to your social workers. We work alongside you, not against you. Okay? And yesterday was World Social Workers Day. I'm wondering if social workers got the love. As we see, Teachers Day.
Nah, nobody knew about it. Nobody cared.
I won't say that they didn't care. They were not aware. Many people were not aware it was Social Workers Day. So now we have to make people aware that the third Wednesday in March every year is World Social Workers Day. So you appreciate the social workers in your life. Just as you appreciate your teachers when it's Teachers Day, appreciate your social workers. All right. Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much, Mr. James,
It
for
was a
coming all the
pleasure.
way from Castries to join me here. And I would say that it was a very interesting discussion. Okay. Thank you so much, viewers. Yes.